IdeaCellular is in focus, stocks up 2%. Actually, the entire telecom sector is in focus after the 2G auctions have turned out to be a big failure. I mean, a failure for the government, great news for telcos, shareholders and investors are rejoicing. Telecom companies have sort of stayed very disciplined with this one, unlike the 3G auctions last time around. Himanshu Kampania is Managing Director at IdeaCellular. He's joining us right now. Idea has won spectrum in 8 circles, including all 7 cancelled circles and top up in Bihar. Sir, thanks very much for your time. Good morning. Prashant this side.
Very good morning, Prashant.
What's the road, sir, for circles which essentially went without any bidding? Because we hear there is a chance that the reserve price might be brought lower. The government is pushing for that. The matter might be at TRAI, etc. What do you see as the road ahead?
I think the way to understand the impact of this auction is on 2 fronts. One, what is the impact of this auction on the long-term regulatory costs that was projected? And 2, what is its impact on the market dynamics? Let me cover both of them separately. First, what is the impact on regulatory costs? I think if you study this auction, it's a phenomena which is very different from what was projected by the government. Number one, there are 4 large markets which almost constitute to 50% of the reserve price where there has been no bid. Number 2, in 17 out of 22 circles there has been at reserve price, and only 1 circle there was some bidding over and above, and that also up to only 9%. Now, what is the implication of this? Obviously, government will have to relook at the current reserve price, and its implication directly is on the renewal when it comes up in FY14, FY16. Secondly, most importantly, even bigger implication is this was 1800 megahertz. This was a spectrum which could have been used for LTE. India is the 2nd largest telecom market in the world, and it gave an opportunity to multiple large telecom operators which are still buying assets across the globe, just like the example of SoftBank bought an asset recently at multi-billion-dollar Sprint in United States, but still chose to give India a goodbye, which clearly shows that the market in India for LTE, for 3G business is a little far, and the interest of global telecom operators on Indian business, in spite of the size of the business, is extremely low, primarily on account of uncertainties that the Indian market actually shows. So this clearly takes me to the second point, the market dynamics. On the market dynamics, in 2008, when spectrum was given to a large number of operators, the number of operators went up to 16, and now in 2012, now you can see there are now only 7 operators who are at a national footprint and 2 operators with only 6 circles in their fold, which means the competition has reduced. Even in these 7 national operators, 3 to 4 are only making cash profits, and none of them are making reasonably good return on equity, which means the sector continues to be under huge amount of challenges. Telecom sector is an extremely important sector for the growth of the GDP and important for infrastructure building of the country. So it needs to be supported. Spectrum cannot be seen as revenue maximizer. Spectrum is one of the input elements, but it requires significant other investments to be able to run this business. So I think this again it proves that this auction, the government we will have to overall look at the model. They have to go back to the old model where spectrum is given at a lower price, allowing the operators to make significant investments and pass the benefit to the consumers.
Okay, very comprehensive points there, but essentially divided into 2 parts. One, regulatory cost, and the other one is market dynamics. and it impacts both for telcos, especially in a positive way. Future auctions and renewal, etc., is going to be benchmarked lower and lesser competition. Reliance did not participate, so I mean that could have raised the stakes in terms of competition, and otherwise things are looking better, relatively better. There are those who argue that despite all of this, growth is falling, sir. 2G growth is falling in the country. 3G ramp up has been quite slow. And as you yourself said, there are very few players who are actually making profits, cash profits. What's the road forward according to you? I mean, where do we go from here for the sector?
You are absolutely right. The current analysts are projecting on a line chart of the behavior of the operators from 2008. 2008 to 2012 was the period that number of operators were trying to get subscriber market share. I think it has proven to be futile, and a lot of operators have lost a significant amount of money. Going forward, focus away from subscriber growth into growth of profit will be a significant and most important objective of all operators. This is extremely essential, as you correctly pointing out, that voice business has a life of growth for another 2 to 3 years, and the data business, while it is in high investment phase, has still not taken off. So it is essential for telecom operators to shift focus from subscriber acquisition to profitable growth, and going forward use the cash to invest into the market and wait for arrival of high-speed broadband business in the country.
So, you're saying that the competition is easing, right? Relatively speaking, it is easing. But you are offering promotional offers like, magic recharge and stuff like that. My point is that pricing is not getting stronger. Pricing is getting softer in that sense with all these promotional offers, etc. You started by saying that the focus is not on subscriber addition but on profits. How does this tie in, sir, with that?
I think you are absolutely right. For the last 3 quarters, our average realized rate has been flat or declining. This is because IdeaCellular has an average realized rate of 41.3, while the average of the industry around 35. We are currently able to get 20 to 25% higher realized rate. That is the reason why Idea today has an EBITDA margin of 26.8, though still not sufficient to give great return on equity for our investors. We have to look at what is happening around. Certain businesses which appeared would never be able to get pricing back. Let's look at state electricity boards, where in spite of whatever political pressures, for the first time there has been revision of electricity tariffs. Let's look at diesel. There have been revision of diesel tariffs. So it's an inevitable process that this will come to telecom operators. But the question is, does the control lie with individual operator, or does the control lie with the overall sector? It is our belief that the lowest priced operator, which are currently making significant losses, have to make the move, and once they improve the price table, the whole price table will go. So we are waiting for this event. Consolidation in the mines has started, and overall consolidation is what will actually drive back pricing power to the sector, and extremely important not only from the point of view of infrastructure building, but also for the point of view of investor return to this sector.
So how far away are we from that event, as you called it, where we will start to see a process of sustained tariff increases? How far out are we according to you?
I know that there is a lot of interest from the investor community to look at pricing increase, but we have to operate in a very extremely guarded manner. on an overall basis, first and foremost, currently the operators which are economically challenged, losing a significant amount of money, they have to start raising tariff, is the first point. The leaders in the marketplace would like to balance the raising of tariff with elasticity of demand, and we have to test elasticity of demand. We would do that. I think in our assessment, we are very close to that situation, but no Pandit in the sector can ever give a definitive date for it.
No, I mean, not a definitive date, but just a general idea. I mean, that would have helped. But as you said, I mean, these kind of things are tough to take a call on, even with generalized timelines. The lowest tariff offering telcos have to sort of come up, and then that process will start, as you said. Mr. Kampani, thanks very much for your time, sir. Great to have you with us here with that insight. Appreciate it. Good luck. I'm just going to sort of quickly recap what the Idea management has pointed out, and these are important points. You've heard it from the management for the first time. 2G auctions being a failure has impacted telcos on two fronts: regulatory costs and market dynamics. So all future costs will be benchmarked lower because of the failure of the auction. Competition is lower. Mr. Kampani didn't refer to the non-entry of Reliance, but he said that there are only 7 telcos now which have got the national footprint, and hopefully competition will be lower. Government, he thinks the only way forward in the future will have to go back to the old way of offering spectrum at a lower cost. Can't go for maximization of profits there. The industry, he thinks, from here out will focus on profits rather than adding more and more subscribers, which has been the focus now for the last couple of years. And of course, the last point that he made was can't really predict when the process of sustained tariff increases will take place, but he thinks they're closer than before. That's Idea for you. So that's the telecom space. Stocks are doing well. I think the market is looking quite okay. It's kind of flat, 11 odd points, but lots happening as far as specific stocks and sectors go. We are back with a focus on that, broader markets, on profit fundamentals, wrapping out of OpeningFire here. Thanks very much for watching.